FC24 career mode news is upon us. The deep dive is being released by EA as this video goes live. Also on the ChesnoidGaming channel, there'll be another video like this going live as well. I have two going live simultaneously. One letting you know what's coming in manager mode, and one letting you know what's going to be new in player career mode this year on the new game. Of course, FC24, the first iteration of the new era of EA Sports football games. The FIFA name is gone, and FC24 is the new king. As ever, do make sure that you drop the video a like and subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss out on any more informative videos, or of course the gameplay when it comes to us in a little while later on in the year. We are less than 2 months away from full launch of FC24 now, and hopefully, as per usual, we should be able to get you some gameplay footage sooner than that as well. So do make sure you're subscribed and drop the video a like to let me know that you guys are enjoying the content, and of course it helps the channel out as well. So what's coming this year? With manager mode, the first port of call is the total management system, which covers tactical vision and tactical vision scouting. The way that you set up tactically will be by selecting a tactical vision, which is a play style that your side is going to play. They range from a balanced standard to the usual sort of play styles that you see in real life. A wing play style, a tiki-taka, counter-attack, a gegenpress, a part the bus, or kick and rush is the word that it's been dubbed. That sounds more like a Route 1 style of play from an English point of view. The lump it long to the big man and play for knockdown style of play. Once you've selected a tactical vision, they all make sense in their own right. Wing play, fullbacks bombing on, tiki-taka, a lot of play in the midfield with short passes and little triangles to move the squad forward, etc. Once you've selected the tactical vision that you would like to play, you are then able to go and start scouting for players that suit that tactical vision. Whereas previously you would have to manually think of what stats that you believe would be important to play the way that you would like to play, now the game will do that decision making for you and take that effort out of it. So when searching for a player that has the right tactical fit for your tactical vision, the game will filter out players that don't suit that style of play. For example, if you're looking for a central midfielder that suits your counter-attacking tactical vision, the game will offer you players that prioritize their agility, stamina, dribbling and acceleration stats, among some other attributes. Whereas if you're trying to build a tiki-taka tactical vision, the game will offer you players that have stats prioritizing in ball control, short passing, positioning, etc. as part of the overall player report that comes to you. Of course, as ever, you'll be able to filter what caliber of player you're looking for, whether you're looking for a backup player, just a first team squad player, or someone that's world class to come in as a marquee signing. And along with the gameplay element that's been added this year with the play styles, you'll be able to isolate any particular features you might like a player to have. So say for example you want someone to have the power shot trait, or you'd like someone that has the finishing traits like the outside the boot shot or the finesse shot trait, etc. You can then filter those players as well to be just as specific as you want to get exactly the right player that you're looking for the style of player that you're wanting to play, rather than having to sift through 30 or 40 different players that just so happen to be world-class centre mids that might not necessarily suit the style of play that you want. You can have 10 presented to you, all of which are exactly what you're looking for. Once you've got all of your players into your team that suit your tactical vision, you can then start training them with the new coaches feature. Coaches are split into departments, as you might well imagine: goalkeeping, defence, midfield and attack, all of which cover the usual position sets that you might expect. For example, the defensive management and defensive coaching will cover left and right wing backs, left and right backs and centre backs in the squad hub and in the youth academy as well. If a player's not at your club and out on loan, as in previous years, then they won't be trained as per the coaches that you have. Just like in previous iterations, if you had a development plan on a player, that development plan would be null and void if that player went out on loan. Each coach has two real main dimensions. There is the tactical knowledge of that coach and their ability to develop players in certain areas. With regards to the knowledge, you'll have 3 different iterations of coach. You'll have novice coaches, accomplished coaches, and expert coaches. As you may well imagine, novice coaches will boost some stats, accomplished coaches will boost even more stats, and expert coaches will boost as many stats as is necessary for that particular tactical vision. It's done in threes. You'll get a boost to 3 stats from a novice, 6 from an accomplished, and 3 from an expert. They'll all be assigned a tactical vision as well, so you'll be able to have an expert tiki-taka coach or an accomplished counter-pressing coach. You can, of course, train those coaches over time as well. As you play and win, coaches earn XP. So say, for example, you would like the challenge of starting with a novice coach. You can get that coach to be an expert coach without financially firing them and hiring someone else. Of course, you can go out and buy the best if you would like to, and you have the financial capabilities to do so, or you can, as you might well with actual players, buy someone that's not quite so good, train them up over time. Once you've got all of your coaching staff in place, the game will automatically assign the best possible coach you have available in that tactical vision to be your head coach. And once your head coach is as good as they possibly can be, you'll be able to get up to 9 stat boosts for that particular position. As you see with the examples on your screen, Jack Grealish, with an attacking expert coach for the wing play tactical vision, he will get boosts in 9 different stats by +6. That being ball control, long shots, agility, finishing, sprint speed, short pass, acceleration, dribbling, crossing. They are all specific attributes that are tied to that wing play tactical vision. To show you an alternative to that, you can see here, top right, that this is for the counter-attack tactical vision, and a handful of the attributes that are being boosted by that expert attacking coach are different. So, the different tactical visions will boost different stats for your players. Of course, the stats that are boosted will make that player better at implementing that specific tactical vision. As ever, the amount of boosts you get to those 3, 6, or 9 attributes are affected by the player's happiness and the player's sharpness. So to ensure that you're getting the maximum boosts at all times to your players, it would be key to have expert coaches and to have your players be as fit and sharp and ready to go as possible, and you'll be able to maximize the potential of any individual player and, of course, your squad as a whole. Not only do coaches have their tactical vision levels of novice, accomplished, and expert to boost the attributes in game on the pitch, the other side of the coaches is, of course, the development of your players through time to improve their default starting stats that then the novice, accomplished, and expert boosts. The coaches are split, as you might well imagine, via star ratings that you're familiar with, and will either be absolutely spectacular, like you see Cameron Hudson at the top there. He's 5-star across the board, the best possible scout you could get for any given department. Some will be not quite as good, some will be actually quite rubbish, but like we say, you can train those poorer scouts with XP over time and improve them to make them better. The amount of stars that a coach has in any given department is important, because you will have a criteria that you'd need to meet to maximize the development in that area. i.e., as you see on screen, there is an ideal number of stars for that department. Sierra, as you see on screen, has a 5-star midfield capability, meaning that 5 of the 27 stars are met with Sierra in that slot. Once you have that ideal number, that's how you maximize the development of your players off the pitch. If you're slightly below the ideal number, your players won't grow quite as well, but go over that number and they won't grow any better than they would be if you matched that ideal. So it would be pointless to have 35 midfield stars instead of the 27, because you wouldn't be actually growing any faster by having that higher number of stars. So making sure that you split your scouts accordingly is going to be important to manage how best your squad develops over time. As we mentioned, not only will that coach be spectacular in what their one area, for example, you see Xavier Sierra there is an expert in the counter-attacking side of the game, they're also, with that XP bar, growing towards becoming an accomplished coach in the standard and kick and rush tactical visions as well, meaning that if you wanted to swap them out or change your tactical vision, then that coach would be able to offer you bigger boosts later down the line once you've been able to grow that coach with the XP earned from playing and of course winning games. How you assign your coaches and hire your coaches is entirely up to you. Depends on the needs of each club and of course your needs as a manager and where you want to prioritize the growth of your club. However, the club or each individual club will be limited to a certain number of open positions to hire coaches, which mainly depends on the stature of the club. The bigger the club, the more coaches you can have. The smaller the club, the less coaches you have. But you can, year on year, unlock extra slots for coaches thanks to the board. If you have a good manager rating at the end of the previous season, then the board will offer you the opportunity to add an extra coach to your coaching staff if, for example, you don't have the maximum amount of coach slots available at the start of the game with that specific club. As is the case with scouts, etc., in previous iterations, the coaches that are available to you will update over time. So if you look on one particular day and you don't necessarily see the sort of coach that you would like, you can advance a few days, come back, and then a fresh set of coaches will be available to you to hire, so you can make sure that you get exactly the right coach for the area that you're looking to improve your squad in. Training is changing for FC24. Thank the Lord. We've been asking for this for quite a while. So obviously currently training is quite frustrating and not being able to manage the sharpness and conditioning boosts and levels of all of your players is a frustration at the moment. However, with the addition of new features this year, you'll be able to really be more specific with how each individual player trains and your squad as a whole via the training plans function. So you will have a training plan available to your club that will cover the whole of your starting 11, which you can prioritize either towards fitness or towards sharpness, varying different increments along the way. Then within that, you can then select an individual and then manually change their overall preparation for games. So say you want your whole 11 to prioritize sharpness, but you've got that one guy that's still quite unfit, you can then go in and manually change him to focus on his fitness whilst the rest of the squad focuses on their sharpness. So you can be a lot more customized in how you train and prepare your team for upcoming games. This also includes goalkeepers, by the way. So you will be able to include goalkeeper sharpness for the first time, which is something we've been requesting for a while, as the previous training model didn't let you train a goalkeeper's sharpness, so they were almost always at negative boosts. So that's a very positive change that we've been asking for a while. Once you've got all of your players set in your tactical vision, growing well with your coaches all assigned accordingly, and your team via the training plan are as fit and as sharp as they possibly could be, you can start thinking about your next opponent via the pre-match preparations feature this year. Before each game, you'll be able to see the opponent's probable predicted formation as previous. However, it will now factor in details on their tactical vision, including a description of their offensive and defensive styles. So you'll be able to anticipate how a side is going to play before you play them, so that you know how to best set up yourself to counter that. So you can set up accordingly as per your opponent on a game-by-game basis, rather than trying to just enforce your style of play on the game. You can perhaps try and counter what the opposition is doing and beat them at their own game. You'll also be able to see their recent form from the past 5 games and how well they're doing in any given competition at that moment. And it will also highlight their main threats, both attacking and defensive players. Of course, as teams develop through a save, that will change. You might, at the beginning of a save, know exactly who the key attacking player is going to be. At Liverpool, for example, you're going to want to keep your eye on Mo Salah on the wing. However, in 5 or 6 years' time, Mo might have moved on. There might be a completely unfamiliar 11 lining up for Liverpool, and you might not necessarily know who's the best player in their team. This is where the opponent threats aspect comes in, because you'll then know, the game will present you, look, this is the key attacking player, this is the key defensive player, and you can adapt tactically accordingly given that extra knowledge. Once you've got that extra knowledge, there is a match-ready training feature, meaning that in a one-off training session, you can adjust your team specifically to suit the opponent that's coming up. By doing so, you'll be able to unlock temporary playstyles for some of your players. Playstyles, of course, the gameplay feature that will boost certain abilities and traits in the game. For instance, let's say you hope to aerially dominate your next opponent in their box. Successfully completing the game crossing scenarios drill as your one-off match-ready training drill will equip your strikers with a power header playstyle, wingers with whipped pass playstyles, and defensive midfielders with an aerial playstyle. So you can make your side better than they ordinarily are, specifically for that next game, by using the match-ready training drill. So you're even more effective against your opponent's current tactical vision. Of course, in previous iterations, they brought in the interactive sim feature, and that is being built upon yet more with tactical view. Of course, they added that interactive sim in, and they're building upon that now, so you'll be able to watch the match from a number of different viewing angles, and you can monitor the activity of a specific player or get a bird's eye view of the action as a whole. They've also added the option to spectate the match from the touchline, so you can have a camera angle and watch the game play out whilst stood just behind the manager on the touchline. As is the case with the current interactive match sim, if you want to jump in at any given moment, then you can do so from that tactical view or from the pitch side view as well. And of course, if you want to, from playing the game, drop back to the tactical view, you can do, or of course simulate to the final whistle to get a quick result. There are also some new cinematics in career mode this year. In previous years, we saw the transfer ones added in specifically for a player leaving, or of course a marquee player signing and joining your club. This year, they have partnered with Ballon d'Or, so you'll be able to see if your player earns the Ballon d'Or. You'll be able to see that player receiving the Ballon d'Or. There's also an open top bus trophy parade should you be lucky enough to win any trophies in any given season. Not only that, but if you win multiple trophies, then all of the trophies you've won will be available on the bus, not just a Premier League trophy. So you win the Premier League and the FA Cup. Both trophies will be there on the bus being paraded around by all the players that you have in your squad. And there will also be Manager of the Year and Player of the Season award ceremonies as well to help highlight those players that have been the key players for you in that given season. And of course, if you win Manager of the Year, you'll see yourself be awarded that Manager of the Year rather than just get a text email that you probably don't bother to read anyway, because I know I don't. Those dynamic new cutscenes will, however, only be available on the latest iteration of consoles, so PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and on PC, both in Manager and Player Career. There are some Player Career Mode ones as well. Some other key improvements for Career Mode, just to rattle off a few bullet points. There are some more customizations available for Manager clothing, etc. Hoodies, tracksuits, sweater shirt combos, etc. Glasses. They've also added some chest sponsors to create your club kits. Bing! That's a big tick for me. They've also redesigned the decision-making process of the AI when determining whether they want to add a buy clause or not when you loan a player out to them. But they've also implemented a point system that will evaluate the buy clause desirability based on a number of factors: the player's quality, how much the team's transfer budget would be required to buy the player, and if the club lacks squad depth in that area, or if they have an excess of players in that particular department. So say you have 5 right backs and a club is wanting to come in and loan someone. If you've got loads of right backs, to be like, oh, maybe we'll loan and buy, because they probably have a surplus of players in that requirement. They've also added a change to the AI shopping list logic to make sure that the board priority a club has for youth development will play a role in determining how much they will look for promising players. Expect tougher competition from the bigger clubs in the South, maybe Manchester Cities, Real Madrid, etc., to sign the stars of the future. And moving forward, the AI will try and keep a balanced number of players on the right and left sides of the pitch. Of course, we've seen in some recent years some imbalance in that a side might have 5 left backs and no right backs. That has been tweaked and should work as intended moving forward. So there's a lot coming for Manager Career, as you can see, mainly based around how you build your team, how you set your team up, and how you play the game, which is obviously going to be a big factor in career mode. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What is the aspects you're most looking forward to? I very much like the fact that there are now some sponsors on Creator Club kits. That's a key moment or key thing for me. I like the fact that the coaches can be trained over time as well. So you can kind of, especially as a fan of Road to Glory style saves, not only can you Road to Glory your players, but you can Road to Glory your coaching staff as well. And which is going to be your preferred tactical vision? Are you a guy that loves the fullbacks bombing on? Are you a Trent and Andy Robertson style player? Or are you an old school Xavi and Iniesta tiki-taka style player? Or are you a Jose Mourinho part the bus, annoy everybody that you play against kind of player? Which is fine when you play against the AI. Screw them over as much as you like. But of course, playing online, part the bus has had a bit of a stigma attached to it in recent years, hasn't it? But part of the bus is a viable option in realistic football and a viable option for you in FC24 career mode and, of course, other modes as well. Thank you very much for watching this video. Like I say, I do have one for player career mode as well. I've no idea how long or short this video is going to be once I've edited it. So hopefully you have enjoyed and watched all the way through to the end. If you have, make sure you drop the video a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any more. Do check that other career mode video as well for player career. And of course, I'll leave a link in the description as well to EA's own deep dive career mode insight video as well. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.